back. We back, we back, we back. Put your hands up. We back again. Keep your hands up. We back, we back, we back, we back, we back. I remember the days of free.
All right, y'all, let's get to it. It's another episode of A Better Sit Down with your host, your inside guy from NY, Cod Anthony, bringing you all the hottest picks you can get. And boy, did I give them to you last week. Folks, we went a perfect 4-0 against the spread. Holla at your boy. All right, this is serious. You're not going to get picks like this anywhere else. I'm very good at what I do. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to bring these picks to you. I'm hoping you guys are listening and you're putting your picks in and you're winning your pools or whatever it is you're doing, as long as you're doing it responsibly. And yeah, you know what? I think we're going to do it again because I got a lot of hot picks for you this week. So without further ado, let's get to it. Who do you like? Guys, let me know what you're picking. Who are your teams? Did you cash in last week on our 4-0 against the spread? Give me your picks. Do me a favor. If you enjoy the content of this show, smash that like button, subscribe so you can get these picks when they're coming to you live and be able to cash in. We're doing great. We're going to keep doing great. I want you to do well. I want you to have fun enjoying the last few weeks of this NFL regular season, and I'll be right here with you to guide you along the way. All right, each and every week I bring you the first pick that I like the best. So when I'm opening this show for you, that's how we're doing it. And this week, we're going back to a goodie but an oldie in the Indianapolis Colts. All right. So we've got a very interesting game shaping up down in Nevada with the Las Vegas Raiders. And so they pulled off a tough win last week in the Meadowlands. It's just debatable if they should have even won that game. I contemplate if the Jets actually threw that game. But in any event, you know, they did pull out a victory there, and it's something that's admirable considering how many guys they were missing. But let's not kid ourselves. The Jets are the worst team in the league by far. Okay, you can have Jacksonville down there next to them or whoever, but that next team is considerably better than the Jets are. And the Raiders barely beat them. You know, when I look at the Raiders, and we discussed a lot about that last week. You know, no Jonathan Abrams, no Arnett, guy with the pink dreads. One of the things that was really troubling and concerning about Las Vegas is their offensive line. You know, it's going back, I think, to week 11 when they lost Richie Incognito. He's on IR. And that's when, right before they went to Atlanta and got their butts whooped. And, you know, I think in that game, Derek Carr had less than 1 second on average of pocket protection time. So this is just not the same team. They are sliding in the wrong direction. They're sliding down, and they've got the Colts coming to town. You know, the Colts are probably the number one offensive line in the NFL. We saw what Jonathan Taylor did last week in his first week back off of injury. Nyheim Hines playing well. The biggest surprise for me with Phillip Rivers this season is his ability to get the ball out of his hands quickly and even into tight windows. I didn't think that he had the ability to produce at a high level at this stage in his career. I was dead wrong. He is playing terrific. And their defense, Bruckner's back. Rhodes is out there. Colts, probably one of the more elite defenses in the NFL. We saw what they did to Derrick Henry. They put the clamps on that guy. I think they're actually first now in total yards allowed in the league. The Raiders don't want any of this. I'm looking for the Colts to pull off a decisive victory down in Las Vegas. You guys need to go ahead and get your bets in on the Colts. You're welcome. That hurt. That's what y'all did to your bookies last week. All right, so moving on. Another game where I'm eyeing would be the Washington football team getting 3 against the San Francisco 49ers, who are still going to be playing in Arizona. We looked at that game on Monday night. I gave you the Bills. We were all over that one. San Francisco, they've got a lot of problems. They've got injury problems. They've been displaced from their homes due to COVID. They have lost their starting quarterback and a number of defensive players. So it's just kind of like a game of attrition. Though they may have started with a pretty good squad, at this point in the season, they're really going to start to fizzle. And looking at Washington, I don't know what's up with these guys. It's like they get no respect. They are an excellent team. They'll probably win the NFC East. Alex Smith is 3-1 as a starter. He should have been starting sooner. That's probably the only mistake Ron Rivera has made coaching this team in his inaugural season. Again, Washington's going to win this game, and they're getting 3 points. These are the type of plays that you want to be making consistently. You'll be able to pull off more victories over the course of a season, and you can go ahead and get one this weekend. Go ahead and lock that one in. I love Washington this week. Okay, and moving on to my final pick of the week. This week, the games were a little bit tight. We had a lot of good teams on the road. At 7, I didn't like a lot of the games, so I had to cut it down to 3. Part of being a winning wager is knowing, what games to pick and what games not to pick. And if you like, a 7-point road favorite, you can go for it. I typically try to avoid those types of plays. You can get burned pretty easily with those late scores. So with that, I'm looking at Carolina. The Carolina Panthers, they've played really good ball at some points throughout the season, but for the most part, they've struggled to consistently play solid football. It's due to a number of reasons. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey would be the leading reason there. Inexperienced cornerbacks, starting 2 rookies, is part of the problem. But this week, we've got a whole new problem. Well, it's new for Carolina, but it's not new for a lot of the league. It's COVID. You've got to kind of factor that into your injury reports. DJ Moore is not playing. A number of other key players will be out. And from the time that I'm recording here, it's Thursday, a little bit before tip-off of what's going to be a great game between LA and the Pats. We probably are going to find more cases of COVID decimating the roster of the Carolina Panthers. And the Broncos, I'm having a little bit of trouble saying this right now, but I think they might actually be on the up. I think they might be evolving into a team that can play a little bit better on offense. AJ Aboye's out on D. That's a little bit of a concern, but I think Drew Lock is going to start to figure out how to make a few more plays. Their receivers, Jeremy Jeudy, Tim Patrick, they're starting to learn the nuances of the game a little bit more, along with Noah Fant. They've got those 3 rookies out there who are all blazing fast. And finally, but perhaps most importantly, Melvin Gordon. We saw what he was doing against the Chiefs last week. We saw what he did against the Pittsburgh Steelers a few weeks prior. So I think that you can, I don't love it, but I do like the Broncos at 3.5. Have a good one.